Dan Orlovsky on ESPN's Get Up on what he expects to see from Deshaun Watson this season.
I hope that Deshaun gets back to the player that we saw in 2021 on the field when he was athletic and sudden and one of the best young talents in the NFL. Those are the two questions I have, Greeny. Is he going to get that athletic bounce back? And then how quickly does the feel of football and seeing windows open and close come back to him? If he gets that, he's going to be in that top 8, top 10 conversation again.
Now, look, I mean, he was in the top 2 or 3 conversation when he was at his best.
With that, let's welcome in Jackson McCurry from the Dogland podcast. Jackson, the feel for football, I think it's more familiarity with the offense. Remember, he was basically running Jacoby Brissett's offense. That's why when we heard Deshaun Watson earlier in the week talk about Kevin's given me ownership of this, that's what you want to hear.
Yeah, you want your quarterback to be comfortable and feel comfortable in the system. And I was alarmed a little bit that said Stefanski and Van Pelt gave him the keys to the offense, but I mean, he's the guy that the Browns invested all this money in. You're going to want the offense to fit what Deshaun likes to run in terms of a quarterback and his skill set. So, yeah, I agree with Orlovsky. You would hope he gets back to what he was in 2019, 2020, when he was one of the top 10 quarterbacks, maybe top 5. I don't know if he was ever top 3 like Greeny said. I think that's a little outlandish, but you want him to get back to his elite status that he was when he had Houston in the playoffs every year except for 2020. So, yeah, you definitely hope he gets back to that. But, yeah, comfortability and the scheme fit, that's all I think Deshaun Watson needs to showcase that he still has the talent that he had before all the chaos surrounded him.
Did you say you were concerned when Watson said that Stefanski and AVP gave him the keys to it? If so, why? Why would you be concerned?
Maybe I misinterpreted, but once I seen the quote, I was kind of like, they're letting him run the show, because you would think like Stefanski's still got to run the show. He's the head coach and everything. But I also understand, like, listening to it, that Watson had input on how he wants the offense to go. I'm sure at the end of the day, Stefanski and Van Pelt are making the decisions and the play calls and everything, obviously. But, you do want your quarterback to have some say. So maybe when I saw the quote, it was a head scratcher to me. But once I listened to the actual audio, I understood what Watson was trying to say there.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is they're going to let him audible out and take a look and change plays, which I don't think they let. I wouldn't have let the previous quarterbacks do that because you're scheming around him. I think I'm happy to hear that because Kevin Stefanski and Alex Van Pelt realize we have an elite quarterback. Let's let him be him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, make no mistake about it. Baker had his flashes. He was never the franchise guy. He was never the elite guy that you could trust to, make corrections if, the defense changed something. And that goes with Jacoby Brissett as well. But we know the talent Deshaun Watson has going back to his days at Clemson, his early years in Houston. We know he's got the ability, the football IQ to go out there, make adjustments if the defense changes something up to that it's going to benefit the offense. So, yeah, I think Stefanski and Van Pelt completely trust Deshaun, and the Browns obviously do too, or they wouldn't have invested what they did to get him.